Belfast. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Stephen. Thanks very much for taking my call. It's just a pity Mick had left there. I just wanted to bring him up on the point of if the DUP are basically rewarded by the British government, and he has said that there will be no reaction from Sinn Féin, then Mick is sadly mistaken if he feels that rewarding the unionist veto won't elicit a response from nationalist parties. That's just completely and utterly wrong. I mean, these people expect to be placated by the British government and then to saunter back into an assembly.
Well, were Sinn Féin placated when they held out, and they were out for 3 years?
Even Sinn Féin pulled the government down because of the RHI.
They stayed out because of Irish language. They stayed out.
Stephen, I've heard you peddle.
Remember equality and respect that Sinn Féin were talking about?
I've heard you peddle this story many times. There was a deal struck between Sinn Féin and the DUP in February of 2018 to go back into Stormont. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So are you trying to tell me Sinn Féin stayed out of government for 3 years because of RHI?
Stephen, can I finish the point? I'm going to explain to you why it happened. They initially pulled it down because of the RHI corruption. The deal was struck in February 2018. If you remember, there were government
no corruption was found in RHI.
There were government ministers here in February 2018 to laud the deal that had been struck until the DUP took cold feet. Once they had discussions with their stakeholders, the deal was scuppered.
Here we are going back, Paul, over the past. We're going back over the past.
Stephen, you literally just went back over the past with Sinn Féin.
I did. That's
you
true.
Literally just went back over the past.
That is true.
I'm correcting your version of events. Because you have peddled this 3-year nonsense for a long time.
Well, it's not nonsense. So Sinn Féin were out of government for 3 years. They were not out of government for 3 years because of RHI for the totality of the 3 years. Yes, Sinn Féin stayed out of government for 3 years. And they had, and I can play the Chris Hazard clip if you want. Sinn Féin stayed out of government until they got a list of demands given to them. Then they went back into government. The DUP are now doing the same.
Stephen, I literally just explained to you what happened. I mean, it's there. It's in the public domain. A deal was struck in February 2018. The DUP welched on the deal. I remember it very well. There were Irish and British government ministers here in Belfast to announce the date.
So what do we do now, Paul? If the government... This is why this 6th of June story... I stand by my view that it's significant because it's not just the 6th of June date now being introduced. It is whether or not the British government... We've seen how they have used this accelerated passage mechanism, for example, to fast-track abortion legislation. We've seen how they've done that. So if they do fast-track this, Paul, what do you think will be the consequences for Northern Ireland?
Well, for a start, there's not a chance of the British government doing any of those things. There's not a chance of the British government doing any of those things. Anybody that believes the word of the British government, they need to have their heads looked at. This is not going to happen. Surely because the weight of international opinion, the European Union and the American administration, there's no way the British government will go off on a tangent and do this.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Robert, morning, Robert.
Morning, Stephen.
Go ahead.
Stephen, a couple of points, but first of all, something